Hello everyone, welcome to Dear Love Talk with me, James.
And Helena.
It's always a pleasure for us to be here with you, answering your questions. And of course, you can always get in touch with us by sending us an email.
Yes, it's very easy. It's the email address is questions@lovetalkshow.tv.
Or of course, you can get in contact with us via Facebook, like many people do. Let's go for our first one, and our first question comes from someone who attends our Love Talk Live seminars. And it says, I've been dating this great guy for over a year and marriage is on the cards. I notice we have a very big difference in the level of education, but this has never been an issue for us before. But at the back of my mind, I'm worried that this will be a problem in the future. What do you think? Well, I think
it's a big problem.
It can be. And I think the question is that it hasn't been a problem until now for both, but she's worried that it can be a problem in the future.
Yeah, she's not mentioning as well if she sees it as a problem or he sees it as a problem.
That's right. But the thing is, look, it's a little bit difficult because I'll tell you what, for many people, this becomes a very big problem in the future. Sometimes the guy finds it difficult to accept that he doesn't earn as much as the woman. Although nowadays, this shouldn't be that much of an issue. But, you know, the man, having the competitive nature, he wants to earn more, wants to be the provider for the family. Sometimes the guy feels like his ego is taking a beating because of that. So many couples end up having problems because of this.
Yes.
Now, does this mean that you will have problems? Not necessarily. And certainly you said that until now you haven't had problems because of this. So it could be that it won't be a problem, but it's certainly something that perhaps you should bring up and put on the table and discuss now before it becomes a problem in the future.
Yes, and I would even say, you know, sometimes it's not just the money. Sometimes it's a conversation. Sometimes you're talking to him or vice versa. I don't know which one is the one who has more, you know, how do you say, academically, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. If you're not able to have a conversation with that person, if you don't understand what the person is talking about, you know, maybe the person likes to read the papers and you don't. Maybe the other person has this very, you know, lots of ideas of, you know, they understand politics or whatever, and it is a problem for you, and you see that this is a bit like, you know, this will bring problems in, you know, in the future. I think it is a problem.
And you have to think about also that if you are going to stick with the relationship and make it work, because as we said, it can be a problem. It's not guaranteed that it will be. Like we said, for you it hasn't been yet, so who knows? Maybe it will not be a problem in the future. But there are a few ground rules you have to lay down. For example, if you are going to live with this difference, that perhaps you are more successful than him and so on, then I think one of the rules has to be that you are never going to throw this in his face. You're never going to say to him, oh, I make more money, or I'm more successful, because then it's a different situation. So listen, it's a very delicate subject. It can work, but you would have to be very open about things, put them on the table, and be sincere.
But sometimes it's not just about the person boasting, oh, you know, I was promoted and now I have even more money and I'm making more money and there's a new project. Sometimes the person doesn't even say anything, because I know couples like that who don't really, you know, say much because they already know it's a sensitive area there. But your partner sees you growing, your partner sees you going on very important meetings, and maybe he's invited or she's invited to go along and you don't understand the conversation. I talk about the conversation because I've seen that as a major problem, more than the money even. You just can't follow what they are saying and you feel like you don't belong. I personally think it's a problem.
Yeah, but remember that every relationship is different, and you asked for our advice, so our advice is that in many relationships this becomes a problem. Whether it will be a problem for yours or not, it's a different matter. If it hasn't been a problem until now, who knows, maybe it will not be a problem in the future. But it's something that you need to be very honest about, very open about, and hopefully then it won't be a problem. But it's a decision that you need to make.
Exactly.
Right?
Just before we move on to the other one, still on this topic here, sometimes the reason why the person asked, because we don't know if it's a he or she.
No,
is it a she?
Yes, it's a woman asking about a man.
So maybe she's noticed some insecurities, her partner is insecure in many levels. So maybe that's what prompted her to send us this question. So maybe you can already see there's a bit of an issue. So you can't live a life, because married life is for life. This is what we believe, and not be happy about your achievements, not being able to say, honey, listen, this happened at work, and this, look what I came up with, and they are accepting my project, just because you don't want to hurt the other person. So you can't be quiet for but anyway, it's up to you.
But then again, like you said, Lena, it's up to you. It's not up to us to say, yes, this will work or not. There are exceptions to the rule, but in most cases, usually it becomes a problem. Now, next question,
We've got Yasmin from London, and she says, hi, Helena, I have a traumatic past and went through sexual abuse as a child. As a result, I find it very difficult to be intimate with my husband, and I'm not really sure how to overcome this. I thought this wouldn't be an issue when I got married because I really love my husband, but I still struggle with this area of my life. Right. First thing you need to do, and hopefully you've done that already, is that when you were dating your now husband, you should have told him everything that happened to you, because not sometimes, you will be who you are, if that makes sense, going about your daily routine and life. And who you are is a result of what happened to you in the past, how you were brought up, what you were taught, how you see things, how you were taught to see things. So this is something that you need to talk openly. If you've done that, and let's say that your partner is very supportive and he understands, this, I know it's hard for you, but it's also hard for him, I think. So, if it's still, like you're saying, you're still finding it hard, I think you need to seek professional help, definitely. Because you don't want to ruin your marriage because of...
What you just said now is very important about you telling your partner about this, because if you are open with him about what has happened to you in your past, he'll understand why you have these issues. So he won't think that you're rejecting him or that there's something wrong with him. He'll understand there's a reason why you feel like that. And without a shadow of a doubt, even if you weren't married with your husband, you need to deal with this issue and find help to overcome this, because the problem is that whether you are married or not, that issue is still there inside of you.
And also, I am of the opinion that, someone hurt you in the past. Don't let them carry on hurting you. Don't let that happen. Don't let them keep on hurting you. What do I mean by this? It's by you having this trauma. I know, physically speaking, and we are human beings and we store information in our brains and all these things, but I believe that you can overcome this. I absolutely believe that you can. Many have, you can as well. Just decide to not be hurt anymore. We
know it's hard.
Of course it is, yes.
We know it's hard, and we're not saying something here that we haven't seen before. We have helped other people with these problems before. We know it's really difficult, but we know it's possible. And the first thing, I think your question addresses two different points, but there's only one solution to these points. One point is that you have been hurt in the past. The other point is that you have this problem with intimacy with your husband. And you're not going to solve the problem of intimacy with your husband by tackling the intimacy issue, if that makes sense. You're going to solve the intimacy issue once you dealt with overcoming the trauma of the past.
Which is the root of the problem.
If you deal with that, automatically you'll be already solving the other problem.
Absolutely.
Okay? So we hope that's been helpful. And the final question, it says, I've been in a relationship for a few years that for the most part has been good. A few weeks ago, my partner was physically violent with me during an argument, and this is the second time it happened. He seems quite repentant about it and even cried, asking me to forgive him, but I'm not sure what I should do. I'm thinking here if I should let Helena answer this one or not, because I think if I let Helena answer, it's going to be very quick. What should
it's going to be a 2-second answer.
What should she do?
He needs to sort himself out, and you deserve better than that. Okay.
I thought you would be a little bit more radical than that.
But I'm trying to measure my words because
Let me be honest with you.
There's many people watching, and you want to.
Let me be very honest with you. A man being violent to a woman once is bad enough. Twice, I mean, there's no excuse. Actually, there's no excuse the first time. But if you decided to overlook the first time that he was violent,
he will carry on.
Okay, it was the first time that it happened. I can even understand why you would try to deal with that, once it happened once, even though it's completely wrong. But if you chose to, try to deal with that and give the relationship another chance, it's your prerogative. However, there's only one answer to this question. This relationship is not a relationship. The moment someone is physically abusive to you, violent towards you, that's not a relationship. When you love someone, and if this person says, there are people who are abusive and say, oh, I'm violent when I really am, I want to show that I love you and that I want to protect you, and because I'm jealous. This is a lie. When a person loves, they don't hurt. If you love something, you protect it, you look after it, and you want to make it be the best it can be. My advice to you is, you said your relationship is good for the most part. Well, if there's violence once, that's already enough to eradicate all the other good parts that you've had. So my advice is, move on. Don't be with someone who's violent, because the tendency is for the violence to start getting worse.
And also, every time he hits you, he loses a little bit of respect for you, or a lot of respect for you. Because imagine, he's there beating me, and then I just go like this, oh, he loves me, it's because, I was bad.
Lena, it's like...
Come on.
It's like the person is trying to push to see how far they can go.
And then he looks at you and he sees, this woman doesn't value herself, and take some more.
And we have to make a point here, it's very important, that when there is violence, okay, our advice is get out immediately. But we know that when there is violence, sometimes it's not as straightforward as that, because there is a safety of the person involved. Sometimes you don't feel ready to start on your own. Do seek help from your family, your loved ones who support you.
And
be open,
the
authorities if you have to. Be open about what happened to you. Let them know that there was this violence. Don't worry about what others will think about him, because that mistake already happened. And get them to support you for you to move on. But do not stay in an abusive relationship.
And if you say, because we hear that a lot, oh, but I love him and he loves me, don't be together for a while. Let him sort himself out, his anger issues, and you as well. Know what you want out of life. Give it some time. And the person has to really prove that they have changed. If not...
But I'll be honest. I think if someone has been physically violent with you, then don't be separated for a while. Be separated permanently. Just let it go. Because if this person is violent, it's going to happen again. And this person has already lost the respect towards you. So move on. And trust me, there is someone out there that's a lot better for you. Okay? And if you do want to send your questions and get in touch, please do so. We feel happy when we get emails and questions, and we're here to help you out.
Absolutely. Easy. Email us on questions@lovetalkshow.tv.
Or you can do it via our Facebook page as well. Okay? It's been a pleasure to be with you. Until next time, have a wonderful day.